greatest challenge in the modern cinema is to create a blockbuster movie that will appeal to audiences of all ages in all countries. They did it in Superman 1. Incredibly, they did it again in Superman 2. With this impossible double act to follow, could they make it 3 in a row in Superman 3? In the next hour, we'll take you behind the scenes and show you how they took on that challenge. A hot summer's day in Washington, D.C. The occasion is a brunch, a charity brunch to support the Special Olympics for the handicapped. And for the third time, the world premiere of the latest Superman film has been devoted to this cause. The hosts are the president of the charity, Eunice Shriver, sister of the late President Kennedy, and her husband, Sergeant Shriver. As ever, the team that made Superman 3 was headed by the movie mogul, Alexander Salkin.
I'm so glad to see you, Mr. Salkin, again. Here's the real Alexander Salkin. The father. He's the original Superman.
But the character of Superman belongs to the actor Christopher Reeve. His son Matthew wasn't even born when his father first put on that famous red cape. This time, Superman has a battle of wits with computer genius Gus Gorman, played by one of America's favorite comedy actors, Richard Pryor.
There was a good story back in the paper this morning. I thought so. In the New York Times, they came off very nice.
Robert Vaughn is in Washington, not behind closed doors, but out in the open to celebrate his villainous role as Ross Webster, and his luscious assistant is the Australian actress Pamela Stephenson. 2 new faces to challenge Superman, but behind the camera, the old team is still intact with Richard Lester as director.
Good morning.
Pierre Spangler as producer, and as executive producer, Ilya Salkin, the man who had the idea of making this series of Superman movies.
Done it again.
Jackie Cooper is there with his wife. Once again, he plays the Daily Planet editor, Perry White.
I can't believe I'm finally standing here just talking to you like this. I've been watching your movies since then. I think I saw you the first one.
After the brunch, the world premiere of Superman 3, and then on to the White House for a presidential reception. The setting is Battersea Power Station on the banks of London's River Thames. The disused coal tip inside is hardly the world's most glamorous location for a multi-million-dollar movie, but it provides a landing site with a difference for the flying hero. After spending half his working life in the part, Christopher Reeve has worked out the elements that give Superman his mass appeal.
I am not yet ready to put the whole 5 years in perspective, other than to say that this has been an extraordinary time for me. It's changed my life, and I think it's made a lot of people throughout the world very happy. Very rarely do you get a film where you can take, as I say, kids from 8 to 80. And this one you can, you know, there's a little something for everyone. And there's been a great deal for me as well. I think the initial accomplishment was to prove to people that this was not just a kiddie flick, that you could have serious adult themes in a lighthearted way that would capture romance and fantasy as well as sort of macho heroics. In fact, probably the element of Superman that people responded to more than any other was the idea of Superman as a gentleman.
Right.
Director Richard Lester doesn't mind getting his feet dirty in the grimy backdrop he has chosen for his leading actors.
Yeah, that works.
They're still experimenting with various methods of takeoffs and landings to make the flying look as authentic as an eagle.
One arm? Yeah, I think you might.
Okay, good, nice, big one.
But in the quest for perfection, Lester agrees with his star Reeve that any action that isn't 100% right isn't right.
That's useless.
It's good for landing, but not for takeoff.
This is that we'll have to overlap it and I'll have to do another takeoff.
They're thinking it's going to be wires.
Many techniques are used to make the flying smoother than ever, but the biggest bonus is the athletic grace of Christopher Reeve himself.
180.
There's no shortage of stars down in Battersea today. Richard Pryor, a computer genius who finds himself in a love-hate relationship with Superman, arrives to tackle the first major scene in the shooting schedule where the two men work together. Pryor almost literally talked himself into the part.
Richard Pryor's involvement in the film came from a guest appearance on The Tonight Show, in which Johnny Carson was trying to say, "So what have you been up to lately?" He said, "Oh, I saw Superman. Wow, this guy is incredible. He does, oh man." And he was acting out Superman 1 for 19 million people, coast to coast, right there. Saved them all $5 each.
You little chain stealer, what'd you say?
And director Richard Lester is only too aware of Pryor's individual style of performance.
But I think he's developed a technique, and after all, he's made 30 films, of keeping fresh. He never says the same line the same way twice. He never walks in the same way and moves in the same way. He's the continuity girl's nightmare. But he keeps himself fresh by always doing something slightly different. But he has an amazing technique as a film actor.
However strong the casting of a superstar, a film depends on the leading actors finding the right chemistry between them. In Superman 3, director Richard Lester did his best to ensure Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor played off each other in a cheerfully balanced fashion. In the event, they actually had fun working together.
Tycoon.
Action. We're on the ground, Gus.
Oh, you okay, Soup?
I'm fine. Just a second, excuse me.
9 or 10 miles? I think I'll walk. I don't want... Yeah, I'll walk. Yeah. No. No.
The improvisation seems to please the director. Some locations in Superman films are so extraordinary, you can't just find them. They have to be built from scratch. His arch-enemies tend to use their vast wealth to live in extreme and eccentric luxury. Remember Lex Luthor's lair under Grand Central Station? Well, Ross Webster, the chief villain in this picture, is keen on skiing. But since he can't be bothered to travel to the slopes every weekend, he's had a ski slope built on the terrace of his Metropolis penthouse apartment. Now in the Superman film, some effects are achieved by models and others are cleverly created by opticals, but this ski slope is for real. It took 3 months to build this exotic setting in Pinewood Studios, and when it was complete, another problem had to be solved. How to cover it with snow that A, wouldn't melt, and B, you could ski on. The 100% solution, 17 tons of Epsom salts. It is from here that Ross masterminds his scheme to dominate the world by computers. The setting may be the most perfect money can buy, but even for the rich, the little things still irritate, like a broken chair.
No. Perfect. It was the perfect plan. It was fool's.
Actor Robert Vaughn.
Well, Ross is one of the wealthiest men in the world and is not satisfied with being one of the wealthiest. He wants to be the wealthiest and control all of the coffee and oil that he does not already control. And the only person standing in his way is Superman. I'm going to have to get rid of him.
But how? Shoot him? You know about him and bullets, not to mention knives, tanks, bombs.
Kryptonite.
What?
Or krypton hammer. Kryptonheimer. Anyway, I forgot what you call it, but there's this stuff that can, like, hurt Superman.
How would you know about that?
Oh, I know a few things.
Yeah, so I understand from the group.
Pamela Stevenson is Ross's secretary cum masseuse, and Annie Ross plays his ruthless sister Vera. But they all depend for their power on the inventive mind of Gus Gorman. This time, Superman seems to have got the better of him.
You think he stayed around to take bows? Not him. No, he flew up into the mountains where the mudslides were taking place, right? All the rain had washed the mud down into the valley. There was a big boulder rolling down the hill. It must have weighed 1,000,000 pounds. You know what he did? He just looked at it and said, "Hey, boulder."
Writers David and Leslie Newman.
We thought if we have this great, gifted man, it would be wonderful if we could find ways for him not to only play the one character, but to do other figures, and we found a way to do that. He does this kind of General Patton-like guy. He does this kind of cornball salesman.
And he does Superman.
And he does Superman.
He picked it up and he twirled it around on his finger like a basketball and slam dunked it into space. It just shot up like that. It was fantastic, man. And then you know what happened? I can't remember.
The city of Calgary in the heart of Canada once again played host to a Superman film. They shot Superman 1 locations here. One of the major set pieces this time was a raging fire just outside town. A dangerous task for Oscar-winning special effects man Colin Chilvers.
We picked a petrochemical plant which is just about to come on stream, which cost about $400 million to build. And well, they've given us permission to go in there and make fires and explosions. So that'll be interesting to see, to work with their firemen as well. They're so strict as to what we can do, quite rightly so. But that's a challenge to make a good effect, but keep within their safety limits.
Well, I think the idiocy of a film crew to go to a place where you're not allowed to bring a cigarette lighter because of the danger of flame, and set the whole thing alight with explosions and butane cylinders. It just shows the foolishness in our business.
I think you better do it. Neil? Put it onto liquid.
The story may be fictional, but when the script calls for an explosion, it's for real. So are some of the extras.
They were all real firemen. All the people that were playing the part of firemen were real firemen. And the danger was that during this, while we had our flames going full tilt, because although they are controlled flames, they do set alight the building around them, that the wind would have shifted because there are areas of poisonous gas which is flammable. And had the wind turned around suddenly, we could have been in serious danger. I mean, or physical danger to ourselves.
More that way!
Despite the air of controlled chaos, at the end of the day, it's only a movie. Human safety is more important than anything else. Where possible, the crew stay well away from the flames. But the risks of shooting the fire from a distance are multiplied when they have to put a camera on the roof. Fortunately, Superman is on hand. But how will he get the people trapped up there safely onto the ground? As ever, a combination of the mastermind and physical strength saved the day.
My God, they're trapped! What's he gonna do? Climb down one at a time?
But Jimmy Olsen, played by Mark McClure, is in there somewhere. Like a good photographer, he lives with his camera.
And he goes for some pictures and he climbs a ladder and it breaks, you know, and he falls down and he kind of breaks his leg. It's a sad story. Send those letters. And Superman saves him.
Jimmy is saved, but the fire is still raging totally out of control. How can even Superman put it out? Only the scriptwriters can solve that. They've written in a lake 5 miles away.
But it seemed like such a totally marvelous idea at the time to have a great big fire and a lake 5 miles away, and how on earth are you going to get the water there in time? And it's a dilemma that think as you can if you're having to think fast. There's just no answer. Even Superman's not going to be able to get all that water there. He doesn't have a straw 5 miles long. And so it was fun having to come up with the solution.
Where's this lake? That way!
Tell him it's hopeless.
You told me we had an adequate water supply. How can I...
But how will he get the lake back to the fire? That's a problem for visual effects chief Roy Field.
Well, the actual freezing is done in sort of with his super breath, obviously, and I shoot, you know, the breaths and things and put them into the scenes that the director shoots. The tougher shots were really the freezing of the actual lake, which I decided the only way to do it was to actually paint it. We painted a sort of effect of a frozen lake, which was over Chris's shoulder, if you remember. He was in the foreground on the right. And we literally sort of cleaned it off. Instead of creating it, we decreated it, if you like.
One of the most intricate challenges facing Field is to create this shot of the lake falling on the factory.
Take some candy glass, which is glass we make here. It's breakaway glass, you know, sugar glass, I suppose, a better word for it. And physically broke that up frame by frame into fragments. And, you do that by just putting it on the ground and shooting above it and hammering it and shooting frame after frame after frame. And at the same time, of course, moving away from it. And then I went on to K-Stage and shot a whole lot of pieces of ice. And then I shot a whole lot of steam. And, you know, you just put the whole lot together. Not quite like that, but all into the melting pot. But no, you dissolve one piece in and another piece in and so on.
The limitless cornfields of Alberta provide a perfect setting for Clark Kent's romance with his old high school friend Lorna Lang, played by Annette O'Toole.
So how much
You know, I was
longer
just
do you think
thinking
you're
about
gonna
it.
be...
Oh, sorry.
No.
No, go ahead.
Could I make it in Metropolis? I mean, what would I do when I got there?
Call me.
No, I wouldn't want to call you.
You want to call me?
Yes, I want to call you, but I mean, I wouldn't want to be a nuisance to you.
I don't think you could ever be a nuisance to me.
Clark, may I tell you something? My oil pan is leaking.
Christopher Reeve has given Clark a new dimension this time.
Oh, see, there's something dripping.
Can I give you a hand?
No, thanks.
And I've added a new characterization to Clark Kent, which, in case you don't see what I'm doing in the film, I'll tell you what I did right now. I felt that after 2 films worth of bumping into doors, by now I should know where the doors are, and the elevators and the street crossings. It's a bore to watch somebody be a klutz all the time.
But Clark is the person I grew up with, and I can talk to him. And there's sort of a lost feeling about that here's this wonderful person. I was so into being popular and being with the football hero that I never saw it was right there. And you know, there's that bittersweet quality about it, I think.
So I played a thing in the movie where Clark discovers that he is needlessly putting on the act of a fool and drops it.
But even the new-look Clark still has something remarkably perceptive about him. Lorna's son Ricky has had an accident.
Lana, I think I'll just go see if Ricky's all right. You okay?
Yeah.
gosh, is he all right?
For Paul Keffler, who plays Ricky, this was the thrill of a lifetime.
That's me.
Nobody but the people the company hires gets to fly with Superman. I mean, it's great. It's great. I mean, it's just perfect. I mean, you could say it'd make it everybody's holiday.
There you go. If I were you, I'd put a little iodine on that. Okay, mercurochrome.
Thank you. Oh, I'm Lana Lang.
Nice to meet you.
And this is Ricky. And this is Clark.
Well, no, I'd really better be going.
But being a young movie star is not just a holiday. It needs concentration and dedication.
We were flying, Mom, in the sky.
What did you do anyway?
I was looking for...
Cut. Why can't you just say it like you'd normally say things?
Okay. What are you doing anyway? I was looking for Buster. Buster? Buster! 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 Mr. Kent, Superman was here.
What?
Yes, he really was.
Uh-huh.
Oh, aren't you excited?
Well, Lana, you know, I'm from Metropolis. I see Superman every day.
You do? Did you give me his autograph?
Cut. That's better.
As Christopher Reeve ad-libs, I wish I had a nickel.